r/AskReddit. What screams I'm poor, but pretend I'm rich? Posting selfies posed with things that aren't yours. I know someone who keeps posting pics of her wearing wedding dresses that she isn't getting with captions like "Nope, not this one, still no," despite the fact that she already found her dress. Does that count? My brother always carries a wad of cash in a money clip. He has a $100 bill on the outside, but the rest is all $1. It's all for show. He has no money and lives with my parents. An expensive current year model car parked in front of a low-income apartment complex. I have a relatively poor friend who doesn't have a TV or anything, but they go around in a several £100 tracksuit and wear fake diamond rings they bought on Wish, which he tells people are real. Bragging about how much money you have. Clothes and accessories with huge logos on them. Posting pictures of new items you purchased on Instagram and stuff. Especially cause the brands that actually impress rich folks are the ones the rest of us have never even heard of. My old roommate spent his entire financial aid refund on a Gucci belt because the security guard at the mall assumed he couldn't afford it. Rental rims. Hold up. Are you telling me people rent rims for their cars? Why in the absolute duck would a person do that? Asking people on Facebook to get in on your Herbalife scheme. Bragging about how you're going to get rich from crypto, but you keep talking about a different coin every week. There is a security guard that works at a popular bar/club in my city. He managed to buy an old Lambo recently. On the weekends, he will drive by the bar several times before his shift as people are lined up outside revving his engine while at the stoplight. His new thing is pulling onto the sidewalk in front of the bar, parking it, getting out, saying hi to everyone he works with, waiting for people to walk by the car so he can let them know it's his, and then leaving, again revving the engine as loud as possible on the sidewalk. He does this for about 2 hours before his shift starts at 11 or 12. If you have money and can afford nice cars, you do not need to show them off. I used to live in a trailer park and a surprising amount of neighbors had luxury cars, Mercedes/Lexus/BMW etc. I worked a minimum wage job for a long time, and it was crazy to me how many of my co-workers always had the newest iPhone, an expensive Starbucks drink twice a day, and obviously expensive clothes, hair, and makeup. It just all went on credit. However, it is ridiculously expensive to live where I am. $1 million for a 1,000 square foot home built in the 1980s level expensive, and I think the apathy over knowing they will never own a home, no matter how hard they work and save, leads people to simply buy what gives them that rush of dopamine and makes their day-to-day life more enjoyable. Rent is also super expensive here, about $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom around 500 square foot place. It's hard to blame people for spending the little bit of money they have left over at the end of the month on fun things, rather than saving it. It's generally good advice, if you have a lot of money, to keep your wealth secret or at least ambiguous, else people try to take advantage of you. Most wealthy people follow that rule, or they learn it pretty quickly. So anyone trying to show wealth is either new to it, or showing more than they have. Too many times I clean up after evictions and there is empty bottles of Grey Goose, Hennessy, expensive clothes, shoes, many things that, if they just bought cheaper stuff or nothing at all, they would have been able to pay the rent. Not entirely sure if this belongs here, but here goes. I work as a host in a small restaurant with average prices, $10 to $15 a plate, plus drinks, etc. Yesterday, 2 middle-aged women with generic Karen haircuts pulled up in a new Mercedes, came in, and immediately became outraged that we had a waiting list due to being understaffed in the middle of a lunch rush. I offered to put them on the list, and one of them pulls out her credit card, shows it to me, and assertively says, "Okay, are you going to seat us now?" I assumed that she had one of those limitless cards, which I literally couldn't care less about, and told her that it didn't matter and she'd just have to wait. They went and stood outside, even though we had set up chairs, so people could sit while they wait, and glared at me the entire time. They kept coming in and asking why I couldn't seat them, which I answered with the truthful answer of being terribly understaffed, as 2 servers and a cook had been injured in a car accident that morning. They're fine. no major injuries, but the car was totaled. Eventually, after a 20-minute wait, I call them and seat them on the patio, and they proceed to order about $80 worth of food and drinks, going so far as to pour their first round of Bloody Marys onto the ground, just to prove to the unfortunate people around them that they didn't care about the cost of their food. Then, when they were given their bill, they wait until the server goes back inside, and they run out of the patio gate, hop in their car, and drive away without paying. Unfortunately for them, Karen had decided to back into her parking space out front, with her license plate clearly visible to the outside security camera. A police report was then immediately filed by my manager. It was a good day. TLDR, a couple of Karens drove up to my restaurant in a new car, flashed their credit cards at us, wasted food to prove how little they cared about money, drove away without paying their bill, and are now most likely in jail. Few of these are great examples, just different priorities. Some people love cars and save to have a nice one. It's not pretending to be rich. Others dress to impress BC. They want to be taken seriously at work and are ambitious. Some rich people are obnoxious about their wealth, but they are rich. See, finance bris. Much as I think it's kind of tacky to be really done up all the time, there are cultures where this is important. We see others look down on them otherwise. Historically, in some cultures, it's a point of pride to pick up the bill, regardless of how you are doing financially, and so on. Maybe just assume that everyone has different priorities. And yeah, a lot of people are trying to project an image, see, influencers, but hey, at least they are putting effort into building a business. If I work the extra hours, it will be into the next tax bracket, and I'll make less because of higher tax. Honestly, anyone that feels the need to openly display how much money they have by flexing designer clothes, talking about their income, showing off their car, etc. It just screams insecurity. Aside from maybe a few outliers, the only people who do this are poor or kids spending their parents' money. Seen hordes of women shopping at a Walmart with Louis Vuitton handbags, Gucci clothes etc. But they buy the cheapest food we have, because they think spending their money on a ducking several $100 handbag is more important than healthy food. I'm a Walmart employee. All day drinking Chivas Regal on crushed ice in Naples, Florida. You are not rich. You're an alcoholic fossil with a pension. Women who post a bit too often about how great it is to be your own boss and be living a plush life, and here are pictures of me by a pool wearing a sparkly swimsuit, and you too can be rich. Set your own hours, travel, and get to lounge by pools. If only you sign up with this definitely not a pyramid scheme company. Bonus points for having a glass of wine in the shot and forgetting to move the box it came in out of the shot, thus ruining the illusion that it was expensive wine. I have a high school friend who is a self-proclaimed rapper. We are in our late 30s. He has LV and Burberry everything and posts photos of his shoes, belts, sunglasses, and even face masks. He poses in front of his apartment that I know is not the best. He also has a GoFundMe for studio time. He has a few kids, and I'm in touch with his first baby mama. She says his income reported to the court does not match his lifestyle. I'm hoping he has success in his career, for the kids' sake. Buying the cheapest version of the most expensive things. Talking down to people in service jobs. The cashier, waiter, guy stocking the shelves is not your personal servant, and you don't yell commands at them. One of my friends comes from a generationally wealthy family who has a live-in butler. The family speaks to the butler with the utmost respect. There's a certain professionalism with the butler. Doesn't get too close with the family, for example, but he was not looked down upon in any way. Owning a Chrysler 300 cause you think it kinda looks like a Rolls Royce. People who post every single thing they do in their social media, like pretending they're some kind of super famous models and everyone needs to be aware of what they do. I don't think it means I'm poor in an economic way, but rather I'm poor in my life and I need strangers to be interested in what I do in order to fill the emptiness in me. As a storage unit buyer, brand names. More often than not, they are fake. And when I say more often than not, I mean like 98% of the time. If I see Gucci bags in the storage unit, I will always assume it's fake, unless there's something else of value that I see. And for people who have that fake stuff in their locker, it's always more than one knockoff. Fake D&G sunglasses, gold chains that contain no actual gold, fake watches, etc. It's like they build their whole personality around it. Use lower end luxury model car. Almost always they're the ones at events who are the biggest jerks to the staff, and then they leave the event in their financed car with engine lights galore. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.